We are ready for baseball, and Canuck cannot hear the pitch communication sign, and so we will have a momentary delay. Canuck, an outstanding sophomore.
He has been throwing the ball extremely well. It's a 4-pitch mix. It's a good fastball, 92 to 94.
First pitch to Haskins, fouled away. It's 0-1. There you get a look at Haskins, the leading home run hitter for most of this season for Stanford, even though he's in the leadoff spot. The San Jose, California native takes the ball inside, 1-1. Kanaki into the wind and the pitch. And the count 2-1.
And for Canuck, that's his best real pitch. It's that changeup. A lot of movement to it. Loves to throw it righty on righty. Will get it underneath that righty's hands.
Fouled away. It's 2-2. We talked about that last week when we were in Chapel Hill, and you've said, I think, in probably every game we've done, that right-on-right changeup can be real trouble on right-handed hitters.
Especially when you can spot the fastball like Canuck can.
Haskins gets jammed a bit and floats it into shallow left. Going out is the shortstop Chufo. Coming in, the left fielder Dom Listy makes the catch. And the leadoff man gone in the Stanford first. Use a little bit more on Aiden Canuck. Fort Myers, Florida native. He has been so good. Look at that, 8-0 this season in his starts so far. That strikeout to walk ratio, really impressive. Senior shortstop Timo Becerra hits and takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Yeah, the thing with Canuck too, Mike, is that he's able to move around that fastball. He's not a guy that can just throw the ball north and south. He can throw it east and west. He can hit every single one of the spots.
Into the shift. That's the second baseman, Jaron Purify, a long throw. Playing the hop is Gaffney, 2 up, 2 down. But the command for Canuck is something that really stands out. I think that's the other thing, is that you saw it in those walk numbers, but even as a freshman a year ago, we noticed that he was a real strike thrower.
He attacks the zone, especially with that fastball. And that fastball has been really good, too. It's been up to 94, 95, 96 miles an hour even this season. And then he's able to play off that fastball with the changeup.
Here is Rintaro Sasaki, who takes a strike, 0-1. Sasaki, the unusual path, the top prep player in Japan, coming to the U.S. to play college baseball. Swings and misses. It's 0-2. And that's that fast start this year.
And that's that one spot where you want to throw Rintaro Sasaki if you're Canuck. You want to throw that fastball up in the zone. It's the pitch that he's been having trouble with.
Well, it misses low. The count 1-2 to Rintaro. Rintaro in his high school career, 140 home runs in Japan.
That's a lot of home runs.
He has not homered, though, since the Duke series. That was the last series that Stanford won as they got off to a 5-1 start in conference play. Really has not been driving the ball consistently, but when he is on, he will wear out the left center field gap. He crushes that one deep down the right field line and well fouled.
For him, it's just going to be one of those learning processes. When you're playing in Japan, I played in Japan, it's a lot of fastballs, some splitties, guys that throw sliders. Doesn't have the same movement as guys that you're looking at right now, especially at his young age.
The 2-2 off the end of the bat and foul. The thing that stands out in having seen him play in person now a couple of times is he doesn't give away at bats. And so the success hasn't been there consistently yet for Sasaki, but there are plenty of elements that can show you why he will have success. Again, he's just a freshman. And I think you mentioned at the outset, a lot of expectations on him. Takes a good take there. The count's full.
That's a really good take on a extremely good 2-2 changeup. That is a pitch that a lot of guys are swinging and missing on.
So the count goes full. He's worked it back after starting 0-2, and he fouls back that high fastball. That just did get a piece of it. Sasaki, as you mentioned, just 4 home runs. He was a guy that if he can tap into more power in the second half of the conference play, would really help this Stanford offense. He takes inside ball 4. Really good at bat for the freshman as he reaches with 2 outs.
That is a professional at bat that Rentaro Sasaki just had. That's why the expectations were there with him. Yes, of course, the home runs are great. It's the plate discipline. It's understanding the strike zone, not expanding your zone, especially as a freshman.
So he reaches for Jimmy Nadai, a Sydney, Australia native. And the first pitch to the right-handed hitter, he takes a change of strike. It's 0-1. Boy, you can see how far out in front he was on that. And that arm speed on Canuck is really impressive.
Mike, it's the arm speed, right? You're talking about a fastball 92, 94 miles an hour, and then a changeup with that much movement at 78, and it has the same arm speed.
Checks, and he went around and appeals, says Brandon Henson, our first base umpire. It's 0-2.
He just went changeup. He could throw an elevated fastball at 94 miles an hour. I don't know if Nadai will have a chance at it.
0-2 the count. And the pitch. In the dirt, Sasaki takes off for second, and a stolen base. Well, he wasn't being held, and Stanford, one of the teams that runs the least in the nation. That is the first for Sasaki.
That's just beautiful. Everybody's playing off. Nobody's thinking he's going to go really aggressive secondary lead right into the delay steal.
Suddenly the 20th pitch of the first inning for Canuck, and down on strikes is Nadai as he goes back to a 4th straight changeup, and the inning is over. We head to the bottom of the first. Stanford 0, Clemson coming to bat. And the Clemson Tigers, one of the top on-base teams in the country. You see Dom Listy on the screen. Jaron Purify has had a tremendous sophomore year.
He has been really, really good for Clemson. And then, of course, where are they putting him? Right behind Cam Canarella. They need Purify to keep doing what he's doing because Cam Canarella has been getting pitched around to a lot. So for him to be able to get going, see those power numbers surge, Purify needs to just keep doing what he's been doing.
There you see Cam Canarella, who we highlighted at the outset, their star center fielder, and they will be facing a guy with some of the best stuff in the country. And we don't say that lightly. Joey Volchko, who started the year as the Sunday starter in Stanford. This is his 2nd straight Friday. And the Central California native is a guy who has stuff that is way better than what that ERA says.
I'll tell you this. You look at the ERA and you look at the stuff and you say how, because it's explosive. It's 95 to 98 miles an hour. That cut fastball that he will throw, going along with the slider, has a curveball as well. He's been working on a Vulcan changeup that he will throw every once in a while. But for me, the key is just keying in on that cut fastball that he has.
Dom Listy, the Chicago area native, a transfer from Indiana State, leads off and takes low, 1-0. Listy, one of the top on-base men in the country. Originally started his collegiate career at North Central College, a Division III school in suburban Chicago. He was a key part of Indiana State's club last year that went to regionals. And the count 2-0. He is not your traditional leadoff man in that he is not a burner, but it is very rare to see him not be on base multiple times in a game. On base percentage of .524 on the year. Takes a strike, it's 2-1. And this is one of the challenges for Volchko, whose control has been a little bit better this season, Gabby, but this is an extremely patient Clemson lineup.
Yeah, this Clemson lineup, they do not mind taking that base on ball. They're 5th in the country with 233 passes.
Takes outside and the count 3-1.
They do a really good job of working, especially the starting pitching.
3-1 the count to Listy. And he takes a strike, and the count runs full to the leadoff man of the Clemson first. We're just underway after a 30-minute weather delay. Lightning in the area, a little bit of rain. But it is a pleasant evening for baseball here in Clemson. And the 3-2. Fouled away.
Yeah, it's bright and sunny now.
Off in the distance it is. How can it not be bright and sunny when I sit next to you, Gabby?
Look at that beauty. Looks like a little rainbow over there.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah, you got everything.
Bet you there's good barbecue at the end of that rainbow. Here's the 3-2. On the ground to the right side. Nadai over, stumbles, stays with it, and gets him. And the leadoff man gone on the Clemson first.
This was a great job by Sasaki at first base, realizing where he is at, knowing where Nadai is behind him. He starts to take a couple steps, and as a first baseman, you're taught, take 1 or 2 steps. If you can't get it, make sure you get back to that base. He does exactly that. Let your second baseman make the play. Very good job by the freshman at first.
1 out. Here is Cam Canarella. Average just under 320 for the center fielder. And potential first-round pick takes a ball outside, 1-0. Canarella was a star from the moment that he stepped foot on the Clemson campus as a freshman. This is his 3rd season in the purple and orange. And he clubs one to right, and going back on and seeing it travel over his head is Tatum Marsh. Canarella hustling for second, the throw not in time. It's a double for Cam Canarella with 1 out in the first.
Well, Mike, we talked about it. We wanted to see the power. The exit velo, 108 miles an hour on this double to right field. This is a good fastball at 96 miles an hour. That natural cut fastball stays on it, stays on that backside, drives it over the right field head, the right fielder Marsh's head. Stand-up double for Cam Canarella.
I believe that is the hardest hit ball he has had this season at 108 miles an hour off the bat.
It's starting to come around.
That is a really good sign. The power has not been there for Canarella, but he's in scoring position for Jaron Purify, who takes a strike 0-1. The sophomore from Detroit, who has seen a major uptick in his offense this season. He was hitting 9th to open the year. Now he's hitting 3rd. Chopper to short. It'll get Canarella to 3rd. And Becerra's throw is offline. And tripping over the bag is Purify. Is he okay? It's going to be an error on the normally sure-handed Timo Becerra. The throw offline.
I will say this. The reason why that throw was offline was because Purify was getting down that line. And it's a high chopper. Becerra has to now get behind it and get rid of it quickly. Purify lunges at that base, and it's one of the things that we tell young players, do not lunge at first base, do not take that extra stride, run through it, or you're going to just go ahead and dive if you see that that first baseman comes off and has to try to make the tag. Luckily, it looks like Purify is okay.
Colin Priest at the plate, the transfer from Michigan, takes a ball. You know, you saw Purify run to that orange base. The safety base is being used. He's only allowed to hit the orange base in that situation because the throw wasn't behind him.
I think if the throw is off the base and the guy has to come off, you're allowed to hit either base, is what I interpreted the rule as when we talked about it. So if you come off the base, you're able to hit either one if that first baseman comes off.
He was in a position, though, where he was trying to get to that outside part of the bat. Well, still clipped the corner of it in kind of an odd angle.
It's the easiest one for him to get to, especially if a first baseman is on that infield side of the first base. You always want to try to hit that backside, especially if he comes off.
Purify bluffs going as Priest takes a strike. It's 1-2.
It'd be a hard tag for a first baseman to try to make.
Priest was on the all-freshman team in the Big Ten a year ago at Michigan before transferring to Clemson this season. Massive raw power for the sophomore DH. And he taps it foul. The count remains 1-2.
Well, we saw his power today in BP. He was hitting some balls extremely far. Center field, right center, even left center with no problem clearing the fence.
He's spread way out. It almost reminds you of Jack Caglione, the way he's spread out so much at home plate right now. He covers the entire batter's box. And he serves it foul down the left field line and out of play.
Yeah, right now, just taking this two-strike approach and understanding the situation at hand. Yeah, first and third with less than two. Your job is to try to knock in that runner from third. Any way you could possibly do it. Easiest way, just let that ball travel. Try to get underneath it, get it up in the air. But with two strikes, you got to put it in play.
Saw the way he's performed in ACC games as he hits that one back through the middle, past the diving Becerra, and Clemson gets a 1-0 lead. Colin Priest with the RBI single to put Clemson in front.
Well, Colin Priest, what a pretty swing. Two-strike approach, strong enough, too, with that two-strike approach to be able to hit that ball and get it past the diving Becerra at shortstop. It's a line drive right by Volchko, but didn't try to do too much with it. That's what I love the most. When hitters understand, don't try to do too much. You have a pitcher on the mound who throws hard. That was a slider, able to stay on it and drive it right back up the box.
Luke Gaffney hits. He was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year a season ago at Purdue. Another transfer in this Clemson lineup. The sophomore waits, and he hits it off the end of the bat and foul, 0-1. Gaffney, 4 homers on the year. We'll talk more about this throughout the weekend, but Stanford's power numbers have been down. Gaffney's a guy that certainly has more raw power. Clemson's power numbers have been down. That one popped up foul and out of play. 0-2. Gaffney, a guy you feel like there's more in the tank. Certainly he is physical enough.
Yeah. You look at all these college players now, and especially when we're down there on the field, watching them take BP. Every single one of these guys seems like they just live in the weight room.
0-2 the count, the pitch. Gaffney lines it foul.
And again, Gaffney, too, just like Priest, two-strike approach. Not trying to do too much with these. Fouling off and just waiting for the pitcher to make that mistake. Not trying to do too much. And that's how Clemson does a good job of one, drawing walks, but two, making the pitcher throw a bunch of pitches.
Takes some dirt. And the count 1-2. Clemson leading 1-0 and looking for more here in the first. The last 3 have reached a double, an error by the shortstop Becerra, and the RBI base hit from Colin Priest. The pitch in the dirt. It gets away from some. A late break by Priest to second, and he is out. Heads up play by Somm to try and go after the trail runner there, out number 2.
That was a really nice job by Somm on understanding you're not going to get Purify at third. Priest has to understand if you don't have a good jump right away, stay at first base, wait for another one, especially if you didn't read it quickly as soon as that ball hit the dirt.
And now Volchko's 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning, allowing just a run. That one gets away from Somm. Purify will come home to score. It's a wild pitch, and Clemson with a 2-0 lead. Wild pitches move Purify to third and score him. Boy, it's just the stuff moves so much with Volchko.
One of the things too that when we spoke with Esker, the Stanford head coach, is he said that's been the problem with Volchko. It's not that he's been giving up all these hits, and it's been that when a guy gets on,
it's a pass ball, and then all of a sudden a ball put in play, and that's how teams are scoring runs off of him. And we saw it firsthand there. 2 wild pitches in a row ends up leading to a run.
3-2 the count now on Gaffney with nobody on. 2 outs in the first and a 2-0 Clemson lead. And the 25th pitch of the inning is hit to first. Sasaki way off the bag will feed the pitcher covering in time to get Gaffney, and the inning is over. Clemson gets a pair. We've played one in South Carolina with Clemson leading Stanford 2-0. Stanford got off to a 5-1 start in ACC play this year, their first year in the conference, and the last 3 weekends it's not been what you want. You see that 10 runs allowed in 6 of the 9 losses. That includes the first ever sweep by Cal at the Farm, coming to Virginia in their first ever meeting with the Cavaliers, getting swept, and then last weekend swept by Georgia Tech at home. As Dave Esker told us before the game, the great head coach at Stanford, we're going through it right now.
Yeah, they're going through it. It started off so well for them, too, winning 2 out of 3 against UNC, going, sweeping Duke. It seemed like everything was on the up and up, and then all of a sudden hit kind of a little bit of a gauntlet. And I did ask Esker, too, like, is travel the problem? Is it because you're traveling so much? And he told me, no, it hasn't been the travel. It's just right now we're just going through it.
Dave Esker, who returned to Stanford where he was a star player, led them to 3 straight trips to Omaha, 21 through 23. And his talented freshman Tatum Marsh has moved up in the lineup, is behind the count 0-2. This is the top on-base man in the Stanford lineup as he takes low. Marsh, a really dynamic player. Having a terrific freshman year as he fouls it away and stays alive. 1-2.
I mean, Marsh is just a really good hitter, hitting 371, a couple of home runs, 17 RBIs, 477 on base percentage, understands the strike zone.
And he gets hit by a pitch, and the leadoff man's on for Stanford here in the second.
You don't mind that too much of your Marsh, especially after an inning where Clemson was able to come in and score 2, getting the leadoff runner on, however it may be, is going to be key for Stanford.
Yeah, as we mentioned before, Stanford does not run very much. With Rintaro Sasaki's stolen base, there are just 5 stolen bases in the lineup and only 9 for this team on the season. Power hitting Brady Reynolds stands in. A sophomore from Bakersfield, California, takes a ball 1-0. Dave Esker was unsure whether or not Reynolds would be able to go this weekend. He's been dealing with kind of a hand-wrist issue. They did x-rays and an MRI. There was nothing in there that was going to cause him to miss significant time. And he's a really important power bat on the back part of the heart of this order. There's a little bit of strikeout in his game, but he's a guy that can run into one. And we'll talk about this throughout the course of the weekend. Being here for 3 days really helps, Gabby. But both of these teams have had a bit of a power outage this season. And Stanford trying to get that back. Reynolds could be one of those guys that can deliver it. Reynolds has 7 home runs on this season. He leads the club in slugging percentage. 13 extra base hits for the left-handed hitter. Throw to first, and Marsh flops back.
You look at Stanford, Clemson, both with the power numbers, kind of right in the same boat coming into this ball game. Clemson with 40 home runs as a team. Stanford with 39. Now Stanford has only played in 30 games, so 3 less games.
Gaffney's only play will be to first. That moves Marsh into scoring position with 1 out.
So for both these teams, the power numbers haven't been where I feel like either team has expected at this point of the season.
And down at the bottom of the lineup, you're going to find some more of the reason why the power has been down as Charlie Somm hits. Now, he had been in the cleanup spot for most of this year. As there's a snap throw to second. And Marsh is back. He is down into the 7-hole now. Psalms average down under 250. 4 home runs for the senior catcher from Thousand Oaks, California. He swings and misses. It's 0-1. Some had a really nice season last year on what was a rough year overall for the Cardinal in their final year in the Pac-12. Just did get a piece. It's 0-2. Righty Canuck is set. And the pitch. Swing and a miss. Tardy on the high heater, and there's 2 outs.
It's just really tough when you're facing a guy like Canuck, just because he throws that changeup so well that you have to respect it. Then all of a sudden he comes with 93 to the top of the zone, and it could look like 97 to a hitter. Because you have to respect that changeup, so you have to kind of turn the field. If you're a righty, you got to more look right center field to be able to stay on that changeup.
Court McDonald hits. The junior from Texas takes ball 1. He was the leading hitter for Stanford a year ago. But McDonald has missed a good chunk of the season with a hamstring issue. And he swings and misses, and the count 1-1. This is one of the more dynamic players. As you're going to look at his numbers last year for the Cardinal. It's tied up. The count 1-2. They just got him back for injury. They're getting healthier. The one player that they're still missing offensively is their talented freshman Charlie Bates, who's out with a torn thumb ligament. He's expected back at the end of April. Way high in the count 2-2. And if and when they get Bates back, and I'm sure they would like to be playing better than they have the last 3 weeks, when he comes back, but they would be finally at full strength. As McDonald fouls it away. And it was interesting in talking to Dave Esker. He's had McDonald for the most part down at the bottom of the lineup here over the last week, in part just to, everybody else is in mid-season form. It still almost feels like the preseason for him. He had been out since the Fullerton series in February. Gets jammed, it pops it up. Shallow center, Chufo being called off by Canarella, who'll make the catch, and the inning is over. Stanford strands the leadoff man through 1.5. Clemson leads 2-0. 2-0 Clemson as we go to the bottom of the second. Yeah, it has been more exciting than it looked like on screen there, but this is what the excitement has been with Eric Package returning to Clemson, where he coached with the legendary Jack Leggett. You see, ACC tournament champions in 23. They've been top 8 national seeds in the last 2 years and played one of the great super regional games of all time against Florida. They got swept by Florida last year, but they have been getting closer and closer to getting to Omaha as Jacob Jarrell fouls the first pitch off. It's 0-1. There are, every once in a while, a coaching hire happens and you go, oh, it's a perfect fit. And that was it when Bakich left Michigan to come back to Clemson.
I mean, what Bakich has been able to do, you just see the guys and the way that they play for him, the way that they rally around him. Everybody respects him. When he speaks, they listen. Nobody talks. He has done a really good job here at Clemson. Could have easily been Coach of the Year every single one of those years.
On the ground to third. And Haskins will retire Jarrell, 1 out. Here is T.P. Wentworth, the freshman outfielder, making just his second start of his career and his first in ACC play. 6'3", 230-pound freshman from California. Right field has been a bit of a revolving door for the Tigers this year. Wentworth hits the first pitch back up the middle for a base hit. He would like that revolving door to stop.
He says, how about we stop that revolving door on me? Hey, it says he's 6'3", Mike. I think he's still growing because he looked a lot taller than that when we saw him in person. But if he keeps doing this right here, he's going to find himself a position in right field for this Clemson Tiger team. Does a really nice job of staying through that baseball and just driving it right back up the box.
So a one-out single for the freshman. And it brings up Josh Pano, the grad transfer from Cal Baptist. Outstanding defensive infielder. Runner goes. The pitch is a ball. The throw to second, not nearly in time. And Wentworth already with a single and a stolen base in his first ACC start.
You gotta love it. Saying, hey, I'm here. The freshman going out there gets a base hit, ready to run, ready to go. Bakich not afraid to go ahead and put the steal on either with the freshman, getting in scoring position.
First career stolen base for him, and Pano fouls it back. It's 1-1. Pano's dad's been involved in travel ball in California for a long time. Goes way back with Eric Bakich. Pano was an excellent player at Cal Baptist. And he waits for the 1-1. Up and in, and he hit him. And if the Venga boys are playing here at Doug Kingsmore, it means that there's traffic on the bases. And here's Andrew Chufo.
I feel like this might be your favorite song of all time.
It's certainly an earworm. You will hear long versions of this, as we do right now. You will hear just little clips, but when there is traffic, the fans get into it. It's not quite ball 8 or ball 9 at Olsen Field, but it is very similar as Andrew Chufo fouls it back. It's 0-1. They celebrate every free pass here. Chufo, transfer from Georgetown, who was the starting shortstop the first half of last year before tearing his ACL. They weren't sure he was coming back this season for a last year of eligibility. But he returned, and he is an excellent defender. Clemson's infield defense, specifically on the left side, is dynamite with Chufo and Pano.
Tell you what, you could put Purify in there, too, up the middle.
Fouled away. They're not going to get a lot of offense out of the bottom spots in the order. Pano's got a little bit of power. Chufo's hit some big home runs, including a walk-off against South Carolina last year in that great rivalry series. But, man, they are airtight on the left side of the infield.
The problem is that you can go ahead and give up a little bit of that offense because what he can do defensively.
And he can poke that one into right field as well. Wentworth to third. He'll be held there. He was headed back to the bag to make sure that the soft liner got through, and Clemson has loaded the bases with one out in the second.
Chufo, what a great at-bat, too, that was. Just poking that ball out there to right field. Again, this Clemson lineup, top to bottom, doing a good job of making Volchko work, making him throw pitches, not swinging out of the zone. They've been doing it all year. They continue it here against Stanford.
And we're going to get a conference on the mound here. Thomas Eager, the pitching coach for Stanford. The recruiting coordinator is going to head out to have a visit here with Volchko. This is a huge spot early in this game. 2-0 Clemson, threatening for more in the top of the order coming up. So let's talk a little bit about Clemson's offense here this year. The thing that they have done a great job of, Gabby, is creating traffic. you can see that they have one of the highest on-base percentages in the country. The slugging percentage is much more middle of the pack. And I'll be honest, that's surprising to me when I started looking through the numbers again on this Clemson team, because you think of them as being a power-hitting outfit.
Yeah, and one of the things that Bakich told us was it's been a crazy year, especially at home with the wind coming in. And a lot of times that these balls are being knocked down by the wind, and he's never had that here. Usually that wind is blowing out towards left field. He says that's been one of the biggest issues that they've been having. Now, today, it's kind of a little bit opposite. When he heard that the wind was going to be blowing out, he's like, wait, what? We're at home and the wind should be blowing out. So it's going to be interesting to see from here on out what this offense could do, especially in that slug department.
Well, Listy is not a big power hitter, but he's got a tremendous eye as he takes ball one low. Volchko's been in the strike zone. That's not been the issue for him. 37 pitches, 26 of them strikes so far. And I would have to think the way Listy grinds at bat, he's exactly the kind of guy you want at the plate in this spot. He's ahead 2-0.
For Volchko, too, you got to think you technically just one pitch away from getting out of this inning. There's one out, bases loaded, a double play can happen.
2-0. A strike, it's 2-1. They do have a bit of a shift on for Listy, too, with the shortstop Becerra playing up the middle. So there's a big hole in the left side. And again, Listy not really a power guy.
No, but with Volchko, the way that he throws that fastball that it cuts, you're going to be playing, especially a lefty, for more of a pull rather than hitting it the opposite way.
2-1, rolled to the right side. It's going to get home a run. No, it's a foul ball off his foot. And the count 2-2. It died in the grass, and the reason why was it hit Listy's foot. Ouch.
Yeah, that's a good 96-mile-an-hour cutter right off his shin. This is not going to feel good tomorrow. Oh.
Tough guy, Chicago guy. It's not going to phase him.
I mean, you've got the ankle guard, too. That's not the shin guard. That's even protected. Right on top of the shin.
You might need a catcher's leg guard out there for that. 2-2 the count. He gets a piece again to stay alive. If not anything else, Clemson is making Volchko work.
I am surprised right now that Sasaki is playing so far back. It's a double play situation. He should take about 3 or 4 steps in to be able to at least have a chance for it.
2-2, bounce to first. Sasaki has it. He'll take it to the bag himself. Just as Gabby called, a run scores, so that's out number 2.
He's just playing too far back. So that ball, if he was playing 2 or 3 steps forward, he would have been able to come and get that ball. So look how far back he is before that ball's hit. That's not a double play depth with bases loaded. So now when that ball gets hit, he can't come charge it to see if he can go ahead and make the double play. He has to just be satisfied with that one out. So I'm surprised that they didn't bring him in, especially with a guy like Listy, who's not that huge power guy.
And not a guy that's with blazing speed either. But now here's Cam Canarella with 2 on. He smoked a double his first trip and takes a ball low, 1-0. We talked about the power outage in Clemson's lineup. Canarella, who last year had double-digit home runs with 11, has just 1 this year. Now, he did have labrum surgery last summer. And the recovery from that, he probably did not bulk up the same way he normally would over the course of a normal offseason. But this is a really talented hitter in a big second half, as you see the difference in slugging percentage so far this year for Canarella. But a big second half of the conference season could lead to him being in the top half of the first round.
Yeah, the big one, too, is that you saw 417 on base percentage last year, 489 this year.
And he's ahead 3-0 here.
Yeah, just go ahead and walk and put up the 4 fingers, put him at first base, and give yourself a chance to get an out on any base. But I'm not throwing Cam Canarella, especially after that first AB, anything close to hit here.
3-0 the count. Clemson already up 3-0. And he Threw him a strike. It's 3-1 at 97. That was well located.
I think Cam, too, was thinking, there's no way they're going to throw me anything here. Guarantee you he had the green light on 3-0.
So now it's 3-1. And the pitch. Cantarella fouls it away, and the count goes full. You have to appreciate Volchko going after him behind 3-0. That's part of what Stanford loves about him, is that toughness.
Yeah, there's toughness there. The I don't care. I throw 96, 97 miles an hour, and if you're going to hit it, go ahead and hit it. But sometimes you might want to go righty-righty rather than going righty-lefty, especially against a Cam Cantarella.
3-2 the count, 2 outs. Saw Jaron Purify earlier. He's in the on-deck circle. The payoff. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded. First walk issued by Volchko. And now Purify bats, who reached on an error and scored in the first.
I think it was a good walk by Volchko. There's intentional, unintentional kind of walks. And for me, that's one of them there. You get yourself into a situation where you have a base open against Cam Cantarella, who is the guy for the Clemson Tigers. No reason to pitch to him in that situation.
Bases juiced, 3-0 Clemson. Swing and a miss by Purify. It's 0-1. A little aggressive on the first pitch of the inning.
I'll tell you what, though, if Volchko can get that pitch over for strikes, especially with that cut fastball that he has, it's going to play dividends for him.
I should say the first pitch of the at-bat. And that went outside, and the count 1-1.
It's kind of been really the problem that we've seen. Basically, that slider that he's throwing is off the plate, and it's not really throwing it for strikes. If he's able to throw that slider for strikes, it's going to open up that cutter.
Already 50 pitches, 25 in each inning so far for Volchko. That one rolled foul, the count 1-2. So they have been long innings for the hard-throwing right-hander. But still, if he can retire Purify, with all the traffic he's had, only being down 3-0 at the end of 2, you'd feel pretty good about yourself if you're Stanford.
You'd feel like you got yourself out of a lot of trouble, especially in these first 2 innings, if he's able to get out of it here.
1-2 the count to Purify. The pitch. Off the end of the bat and foul. Just did get a piece. He will use that slider a lot. That's his primary pitch to right-handers. As much as we talked about the cutter with Volchko and him throwing 96, 97 with cut, it's that slider that he pitches off of.
And that's where he needs to try to develop a pitch, like maybe that Vulcan changeup that goes into a righty. That's something that goes away from that trend of just going away from away and away.
1-2 just missed at 98. He went to the cut fastball there.
Every single one of the pitches, it's that either slider or that cut fastball. It's going to go away from a righty. So as a hitter, I'm obviously going to say, okay, now I can lean over the plate a little bit more because he has nothing really that comes in on me.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase the slider that time. And Stanford escapes the bases loaded jam, allowing just one. To the third, it's 3-0 Clemson. Stanford trailing 3-0, and there's Dave Esker, the head coach of Stanford, gathering his offensive players together, his defenders together, and encouraging them. It has been a rough go for the Cardinal. They have lost 9 straight conference games. He does not seem happy with the way they have played to this point. And listen, I think you can understand it, Gabby. Listen, they're fortunate to be down 3-0 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I love that with Esker. Right away, getting the team together and being like, hey, this is not how we play this game. We need to make some changes with the way that the guys are going out there. You have a pitcher on the mound in Volchko who's been trying his hardest. He is going out there. You can see that he is battling. He wants his team to be just the same.
That conversation lasted from the moment that his players got off the field to the first pitch of the inning, basically, to the time that Ethan Hott walked into the batter's box. Former All-State performer in Arizona checks and takes high. It's 1-1. But you can sense the frustration, and really, like the thing that has to be a little frustrating for him is it's not like there's been a ton of hard contact. And it's not like his, there has been, guys turning around and watching the ball fly out of the ballpark. It's not with one walk, one hit batter in the inning. There's a wild pitch. There's been an error. Those kind of little things. This is a pretty good defensive team that Stanford has. But I wonder how much of that was, hey, listen, we need you to compete in the batter's box, too.
I think it's a little bit of just the full roundness of the game. You look at that first inning, Purifier reaching on an error by Becerra that was an easy play, one that he makes 99 of 100 times. It wasn't that hard of a play. But at those moments in time, one little bit of errors, it changes the game, the complexion of the game, especially early on. Knowing, too, that you're facing Canuck, who's a very good pitcher on the mound. Any little mistakes early can win or lose you a ball game.
Canuck and Jacob Gerald going to get together here for a couple of moments to get on the same page. 3-0 Clemson, top of the third. Canuck, who seems like he was born ready, he has a very quick tempo on the mound, and he strikes out hot to start the Stanford third. Coming up Sunday night, a rivalry of two of the oldest teams in the National League. The Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers will meet at Dodger Stadium. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio. Coverage begins 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific with baseball tonight, Sunday night countdown. To the top of the order with Trevor Haskins. The third baseman takes a changeup strike. 0-2. You tell everybody what you told us about this changeup an inning ago?
I think it's probably the best changeup that I have seen, definitely in college baseball. And two, it's because of the difference between that fastball and changeup. You got a fastball at 93, 94, 92 miles an hour, and a changeup that's at 77, 78. But it looks like a fastball out of hand because of the way he's throwing it.
Scott Haskins set up for it here. He went to a fastball again. It's 2-2.
And you can see, too, that Stanford kind of knows that a changeup's going to be coming. And even knowing it, they're still out in front on it. A lot of action to the pitch.
There it was again. Back-to-back strikeouts for Canuck to start the third.
It's the action of the changeup, the arm speed, just like a fastball. The movement starts on the middle part of the plate, breaks about a foot in underneath the hands of Haskins.
He starts Becerra with a changeup. He just gets a piece. It's 0-1.
And that's the other thing, too, that he could throw that changeup a little bit harder at 86. And then all of a sudden he throws it at 77, then throws it at 82. He's just kind of playing around with the changeup right now.
It almost looks like when you're driving and everybody's going the same speed and somebody brakes in front of you but doesn't have brake lights. Like, that's what his changeup looks like. It comes to a sudden stop. And everybody panics. He tries to rush the fastball by him there.
Now you can see he wanted that. Changeup, 93 fastball, elevated, hope to get the swing and miss. Sarah does a good job, though, of just fouling that pitch off. You got to think a changeup could come again.
Just missed with that heater. Boy, that was well located. It's 1-2.
Tell you what, he would have had me looking at the same exact thing, and I would have just been praying that it didn't get called a strike.
I think it was a good call by Brian Miller, our home plate umpire. The pitch, that one wrapped foul. It was up a little bit more that time.
That's where if you're Stanford right now and you're in that dugout, you know that Canuck has a really good changeup. You've got to turn the field. You cannot try to pull him. You have to think right center field.
Popped up. Foul territory, first base side. Gaffney over, makes the catch, and it is a 1-2-3 third for Canucks. 6 in a row set down by the right-hander. Clemson leads 3-0 through 2.5. And his number retired, number 7, Leggett on the bench for Clemson at all of their home games. He is one of Eric Bakkich's mentors. And you get a look at Jack Leggett. We had a great, probably 25-minute conversation with Coach Leggett today. 32 years as the head coach of this program. He is having a blast.
Oh, he is having so much fun.
He moves well still, too. Like, he looks like he could play shortstop.
He wants to. He was out there. He wants to do everything. Hey, give me the ball, flipping it.
2-1, the count to Priest. You know, one of the things that Jack said is this is his favorite thing that he does. Every day, for every game, they do something called 7 with 7. And for 7 minutes, he'll talk to the team, motivational speeches, life talk, baseball stuff, whatever it is. And then there is a whiteboard in the Clemson dugout, and when he's done, he writes down what it was. And he's like, and if you go in there and look, you can see the list of everything I've done. He's very proud of it. It was really cool. Yeah.
Go in and take a picture.
He couldn't wait for us to hear about it. But, he's having so much fun in this role. You know, it's really, both of these programs had iconic coaches, right? Jack Leggett here at Stanford. And there you see the whiteboard there with all of it. There are the comments that he's made. Ride for the brand is the latest one. That's something that Gabby does all the time. As Priest draws a leadoff walk. But Mark Marquez obviously was the legendary coach at Stanford, led them to multiple national titles. He was Dave Esker's head coach there. He was Esker's mentor. Esker was an assistant for him. Marquez, since leaving Stanford, is on the staff at Santa Clara, where one of his former pitching coaches, Rusty Filter, is the head coach. But his role is not all that dissimilar to what Jack Leggett's is, in that he is a mentor for coaches and spends a lot of time with soccer coaches, field hockey coaches, lacrosse coaches, just talking about the theory of coaching. And, you know, we were talking off the air, Gabby, about how great it is for these schools and programs, and you know, when you have connections, you know, like with Jack Leggett coming back, what kind of value that brings to coaches, to players, to the connection to the history of the sport. It really is a special relationship when you can do that.
Well, you got to think you're just adding another icon to the staff, where he can speak to the players in a way where the players respect what he has to say, and you trust it and know that he is going to be telling all these players what they need to hear.
Gaffney down on 3 pitches, and that's the first out here in the Clemson third. Second strikeout for Volchko.
Not only that, too, you have Leggett on the bench and Backich up there, and you need something as a head coach of, like, what should I do in a certain situation? You got the right man to turn to who's been there and done that.
Oh, the guy who coached here for 32 years, you think he might have an idea of what's happened in these situations before? It's probably pretty good. We were talking to him a little bit. He said every home game, doesn't miss them. So what do you do when the team's on the road? I said, do you travel? He goes, no, I watch the games on TV.
And you did ask him, too. Well, what happens if you do travel? So then I watch the game on my phone.
That is a baseball lifer if ever there was one. 2-0 the count to Gerald. In the air to right center field. Marsh on the run, looking up. It's gone. opposite field. 2-run homer for Jacob Gerald. 5-0 Clemson. His team leading 8th of the year. That one got out of here. That one really carried. We talked about where the power might be coming from for Clemson, and Gerald trying to make it happen as T.P. Wentworth stands in. Freshman singled his first trip, and that went to the screen. One and 0, the count to Wentworth. Chardy on that one. It's 1-1. I wasn't sure when Gerald hit that. I mean, he hit it pretty good, but I didn't think it was going to end up.
It sounded loud.
Over the stands.
It went over the stands. It hit off the building. Just a beautiful swing.
There's a strike in the count, 1-2. It has been all Clemson so far as they've gotten to Volchko. Wentworth on the ground to short. Becerra will throw him out. And that's out number 2.
I got to go back to this home run because, my goodness, what a swing. It's a slider, but it stays up. Not a lot of movement to it. Jacob Gerald stays behind this ball, delivers that backside. 107 miles an hour off the bat, hits off the roof of the building in right center field, 393 feet. Just power to the opposite side.
2 outs for Josh Pano. Swings at the first pitch, fouls it away. It's 0-1. Clemson, who has just 3 conference losses this season, just 5 on the year. Up big early now. And the count 1-1. One and 1 the count to the number 8 hitter in the Clemson lineup. And the count 1-2.
For Volchko, the slider is almost like 2 different pitches. He'll throw it, it's about 90, 91 miles an hour. But sometimes it doesn't have that same kind of run that his slider has. It's almost like a cutter, and it doesn't move as much. And whenever it doesn't move as much, especially when he throws it up in the zone, it's getting hit hard. That is a good pitch.
Inning over. Gerald makes it a 5-0 lead for Clemson. We'll talk to their head coach, Eric Bakich, as we head to the 4th. We head to the 4th inning. Clemson leading Stanford 5-0. We're joined now by the head coach of the Clemson Tigers, Eric Bakich. How is it that your club is so good at staying within their approach offensively?
Well, a lot of times it's just taking what the pitcher gives us, and a lot of the credit goes to Nick Schnabel and Griffin Mazer, Ben Paulson, the guys that spend a lot of hours putting these reports together. But the plan with this guy, we knew he was going to throw hard, and everything's hard, and you just got to be on time to hit 96, 97 because it's a big arm. You got to be able to lay off the slider out of the zone and try to hit the fastball in the zone. Our guys are doing a good job so far, but a lot of game left, obviously.
Coach, there is a lot of game left, but with Andy Canuck and the way that he's throwing the baseball, I already said it in this game. It's probably the best changeup that I've seen in college baseball.
He does a really good job of throwing it with fastball arm speed. It's a good sell. It tunnels like the fastball, like that one right there. Or no, that actually was, what was that, slider? Slider, that was slider. It's hard to tell from the side view sometimes.
It's hard to tell for us up here too.
Yeah. But he's a true. There's the changeup. He's a true master of his craft. He works on his pitches. He's one of those guys that's always tinkering and always messing with grips and he knows how his ball should move. He knows what he needs to do to get it to move the right way, and he's like a scientist out there with that kind of stuff.
Eric, we appreciate the time. It's great to be here with you. Best of luck the rest of the game.
Well, don't go anywhere yet.
Okay, I'm not going to. Who are you going to?
We got a routine here.
No,
okay?
I know. You like to bring a player on, so let's do it.
We got a guy that I think he's got a chance to make $1 million with a T-shirt company. Drew Titsworth. I'm gonna hand it off to him.
Oh man, Drew Titsworth, who is one of the key relievers for Clemson. Drew, Mike Farron, and Gabby Sanchez. Hey, you had a huge performance in the midweek. I mean, listen, I know you want to be pitching on the weekends, but the 4 1/3 you gave your guys this midweek were super important. What can you tell about the atmosphere at that game? Because it felt like it was tense watching it on TV.
Obviously the fans out here are always great, and military appreciation. I guess everyone showed out, and it was just a great crowd to be a part of.
All right, I think Mike missed something here. Eric Backett said that you can make $1 million off of a T-shirt. Well, what we got going on here?
Something with my last name and my number. I'm not sure what all the hype is about that, but it's what I'm hearing.
Pretty good NIL space, I think. Is that what it is?
Maybe.
Hey, what can you tell us about this bullpen, Drew? Because I think it is one of the best bullpens in the country. You get to sit down there with Smallstead and all of these guys, and that's going to be the first hit of the game for Clemson. An opposite field home run for Tatum Marsh. And Stanford on the board. It's now 5-1. But this bullpen has been so good all season. What do you appreciate about this group with Wallstead and Garris and you?
Between those two and just all the other guys, I think the biggest part for all of us is being able to teach each other and learn from each other. Everyone down there kind of has the things they're good at, and we're able to just kind of share the love on what we specialize in and help everyone else out.
Drew, we appreciate the time. Best of luck this weekend, and thank you so much for joining us.
Of course, thank you.
Drew Titsworth, one of the key relievers for Clemson, and he was huge in their midweek win. And you saw the first hit of the game for Stanford, an opposite field home run for the freshman Tatum Marsh. Ball seems to be carrying to right center. And the count 0-2. And one of the things we talked about with Dave Esker this week was Marsh and whether or not he would be moving him up in the lineup. He said he'd resisted for a while because he was a freshman. Now you understand why he's hitting in the middle. Swing and a miss. Brady Reynolds down on strikes, and the inning is over. Stanford on the board on the 2-out home run from March. Through 3.5. Clemson leading Stanford 5-1. We'll visit with Dave Esker, the head coach of the Cardinal, next. Stanford on the board. They trail Clemson 5-1. We're joined now by the head coach of the Stanford Cardinal, Dave Esker. You gathered your team earlier to talk to them a little bit. What was your message to your squad after the second inning?
Do you really want to know?
Sure. I mean,
can I give you a context of the message versus the exact verbiage?
I have a feeling you've probably said it to me in the past, Dave. So.
Just disappointed to come out and look a little tentative, right? And we're going to go nowhere if we play tentative and a little scared. And we got that freshman kid in right field, Marsh, who's holding his ground and taking a hit by pitch, and then he whacks one over the right center field. Well, we need to follow that guy. That guy's showing us how you come in here and play. And I'm just disappointed a little bit in some of our older players playing just a little tentative and maybe even a little scared. But we can get over it. And this kid on the mound, he's going to grow into a fine pitcher, and he's just getting his lumps every now and then. And but he'll learn. He'll get better.
A double for Andrew Schufo to lead off the inning there. Yeah, but just real quick on Volchko. I mean, what are you seeing with him? I mean, it's obviously the stuff is really good. Is it just consistency of execution?
Well, Gabby probably knows. Don't they say the biggest you could throw 110 miles an hour, but if you can only throw a fastball and it's straight in, they can hit it.
Yeah.
You know, there's and just being able to land. And hey, their guy Kanak has done a great job. He reminds me of a former pitcher we had, Brendan Beck, who was just a surgeon. You know, the pitching coach is over there playing a video game, just calling pitches that he knows are going to be strikes. And you may still get a hit on him, but he's not going to create traffic with walks and get himself in trouble. So, you know, just the learning process, maybe just a little fat on the plate and not enough breaking pitches for strikes to kind of threaten you and get you off the fastball. He's going to get better. He's going to be a stallion. He's going to be a stud. He's going to play in the big leagues. But, you know, like early on, it's just that learning process.
Right.
Coach, and you went about Aiden Kanak and what he's been throwing. What can you tell your offense to try to get them back into kind of a groove to see if you can get guys more on base?
Yeah, you got to have battle at bats. He's going to throw a number of pitches for a strike, so you know you're going to have to battle. You're in battle mode right away against a guy like that. But you can get some hits and create an inning and maybe get a big swing, right? If you can, put a couple guys on base and put a swing together, and all of a sudden now you're back in the ball game. But he makes it tough because he's not going to give you much. You know, he's not going to give you a whole lot, and their offense has been able to score some runs and give him a little breathing room. And we've had pitchers like him before. When you give them a lead, they make it hard for you because they're not going to give you bases.
Dave, we appreciate the time. Best of luck today. We look forward to being with you the rest of the week.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks guys.
Esker.
All right.
Dave Esker, the head coach of Stanford. I love that. He was like, "Do you really want me to tell you what I said to them?"
I love the face too. He gave you that stern look face on the camera. Played it perfect.
He is a wonderful, wonderful man, wonderful coach. You know, his son Xavier started his career at Arizona and has been hitting leadoff for Santa Barbara this year and hit a big walk-off hit earlier this year, and everybody in the Stanford clubhouse was watching when that happened. So great baseball guy, terrific man, and obviously it's a tough go today. And boy, he hit on some of the things with Volchko that I think you've been talking about, right? Got to land that slider for a strike. Got to be able to pitch off that. Use that fastball, keep it out of the fat part of the plate. The stuff is clearly there, but he is in a bind here with first and second, nobody out in the fourth, trailing 5-1.
Yeah, it's just tough because, just like you said, the stuff is there. It's 96, it's 97. But again, if you're not landing your secondary pitches for strikes, it makes it really hard on you because guys start to just key in on one pitch. And guess what? If you throw a slider at 91, 92 miles an hour and it doesn't do anything, it looks like that cutter fastball that's at 95, 96, and guys are able to stay on it.
Now, here's Cam Canarella, who doubled his first trip and walked, and he's even in the count now, 1-1. This is where the thing that they love about Volchko with Stanford is the compete factor. He's a guy that's going to go after you. He's going to attack. He's kind of a blue-collar kid. He's from the Central Valley in California. I was talking to Tom Seeger about him a couple weeks ago, their pitching coach. And he said, I love him because he's just got this kind of strong work ethic, strong mentality. Obviously, he's got great stuff. And Dave Esker's right. He's going to pitch in the big leagues. That's big league stuff that he has. But they really like that mentality. Now it needs the execution needs to match, and he's got a chance maybe to get out of this inning as he gets the fielder's choice at second. Well, it would have been a huge double play to be able to turn. Just wasn't hit hard enough because it would have put a man at third with 2 outs.
And now he's in a situation too with Cam Canarella at first base. You're going to have to keep an eye on him because Cam Canarella is not afraid to take the extra base. He's not afraid to steal. Canarella, this year, he's 4 for 6 in stolen bases.
And Eric Bakich is going to use one of his offensive timeouts and gather the entire group of position players together. Does this signal to you they might try and put some sort of a play on? I mean,
you're going up there thinking about maybe that first and third bunt play situation, get another run on the board. It's a play for me that the Tampa Bay Rays really are the ones that started it. And it's first and third. It's almost like a safety bunt, and you're going to push it to first base. That first baseman's going to have to come make the play. And a lot of times that first baseman tries to get that out at home. You're not able to get it, and you still have a man on first and second. If it's executed the right way and defensive's done the right way, really the only out is going to be at first, and you still have another guy in scoring position. With Purify up to bat, he's a good guy to do it with. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's a play that maybe Backich was bringing the guys in to kind of run.
Purify reached on an error and scored in the first. He's also struck out swinging. First and third now, one out. 5-1 Clemson leads as they bat in the bottom of the fourth. He squares to bunt. The runner goes. The throw down to second is in time to get him. Psalm guns him down for out number 2. A huge play by the senior catcher.
That's the second time today that Psalm throws an absolute rifle, perfect throw to second base. Cantarella has no chance. I think that Purify there, that was a let's go to bunt and pull it back to see if you can get that steal.
And a wild pitch is going to bring home the run, and it's 6-1. That's the second time that immediately following a guy being thrown out going to second, that a wild pitch has scored a run, and Volchko couldn't land that one in the strike zone, and Psalm couldn't get in front of it.
There's nothing Psalm could have done.
Yeah, I mean, there's no chance, right?
This ball is straight pulled. Volchko, and that's 91-mile-an-hour slider down in the other batter's box. Nothing he can do there, and this is the second time, like you said, that Volchko ends up getting a run to come across on a wild pitch, and the second time after he gets a huge out on the bases.
Remember that last time it was runners at first and second, pitch in the dirt. Psalm threw behind the runner going to second and gunned him down, and then the next pitch was a wild pitch that scored a run, and now they're going to get everybody together with Volchko here on the mound. So a walk to Purify keeps the inning going. It's 6-1 Clemson, and Colin Priest coming up. Boy, this is what it's felt like during this 9-game conference losing streak for Stanford. You know, they've had a lead in 5 of their last 6 games in conference that they've lost. Today they haven't, but it seems like every time they've had a chance to get out of an inning, or every time they've had a chance to close out a victory, something has gone wrong for them. And that's really the case today, is that they have had opportunities to get out with minimal damage, and they're facing one of the toughest pitchers in the ACC, so you knew it was probably going to be low scoring, but they just have not been able to tighten up that last moment of execution this evening.
I mean, they've had the chances, they've been there, and they just haven't been able to stay with the lead. And that's been kind of their problem, especially after starting off in the ACC. Like I said, winning 2 out of 3 against UNC and then sweeping Duke, which Duke now has been playing some really good baseball.
Now, we just saw both those teams last Thursday, and they both have the smell of teams that can make a deep run in the postseason. So it was a great start, but those last 3 series have gone poorly, and you're starting to see it a little bit in body language and frustration. And you can only imagine what the frustration is like for the Stanford players right now. They do not want to be executing like this. Throw over and Purify dives back. Clemson has scored in every inning so far. The 1-0. It's 1-1.
See, that's the good slider. But it's been very inconsistent. That's going to be the pitch that he really has to work on during bullpens, during regular throwing programs, really working on that slider to be a little bit more consistent with it. Because, again, the stuff is there. But I don't care who you are. These college hitters have grown up with velocity. And you cannot just go up there and think that 95, 96 is going to be able to just win you ball games.
You know, but it's not a straight 95 and 96.
No, it's not. It's got some cut to it.
Some movement to it. Runner goes. The pitch is a ball. The throw from Somm is not in time. Stolen base by Purify. Becerra thought he got him. Purify, that's stolen base number 16 on the season.
I had him saved, but well, it looked like Purify really did a good job, especially the last second, that extra little burst of speed.
How about Purify, too, with 2 oven mitts? It's like he's going over to that Cajun grill to go ahead and pull out a brisket.
I would like to borrow his oven mitts to go out to the Cajun grill.
I'll tell you this,
to get a brisket.
The smell that we continue to get with that Cajun grill is not fair.
Let's get a look at this here. This is the play at second.
Yeah, he's safe.
He's safe.
I'll tell you this, though. Somm's made that a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
His release is awfully quick, isn't it?
Really
he gets rid of it because it's not like he's out of the crouch that fast. But, boy, he has been very accurate tonight. 3 really good throws.
Very accurate, very quick release of getting that ball out to second base. Purify had a really good jump, and he was booking it, and I thought, oh, this is going to be an easy stolen base, and he made it very, very close.
And another look here at it. See whether or not Becerra's glove got to the arm before the hand reached the bag. It looked like on first blush, Purify was safe. I feel like the hand is in.
Yeah, the hand's in. I think this should be confirmed.
You are so confident that I expect them to be overturned.
I would be shocked. The hand's there before the glove hits. And even,
really
and you have to be 100% to overturn it. There's nothing there that shows me that he's out. Everything shows me actually that he's safe.
So we wait for the umpires. And our home plate umpire tonight, Brian Miller, says that he is safe. So stolen base number 16 holds for Purify, and Clemson with another man in scoring position, already up 6-1. Just got to wait for the music to die down. And 2-1 the count to the left-handed hitting Colin Priest. And now the count 3-1 as he tried to run the fastball over the outside corner.
I was thinking too, 92 pitches, I get there's 2 outs. Nobody warming up in that Stanford bullpen.
3-1 the count, the pitch. And the count full. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Priest down on strikes, and the inning is over. Clemson tacks on a run. They played 4. They lead Stanford 6-1. Just the 3rd time in history that Clemson Tigers take on the Stanford Cardinal, the first time ever outside of the Men's College World Series. And it's been all Clemson tonight, as these Clemson fans very happy with their
You're welcome.
31-5 ball club so far this evening and season. Charlie Saum will lead things off. The catcher, bottom third of the order, due for Stanford in the 5th. And Aiden Canuck starts it with an off-speed offering up high for ball 1. Canuck has given up just one hit, an opposite field solo homer from Tatum Marsh last inning. And there is that Bugs Bunny changeup again. It's 1-1. I don't know that Bugs Bunny had that arm action. I'll be honest. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2. We were talking to Eric Bakich a little bit about Canuck this morning, and he said they had Spencer Strider come in here. Obviously, the Braves' immensely talented right-hander who played at Clemson. As Saum rolls to second, and Purify will throw him out. But they brought in Strider to speak, and he said, Strider's a super intelligent guy. He's a real student of pitching. And he felt like the conversations between Canuck and Strider were next level. This is an incredibly intelligent pitcher. He's not just a guy with good stuff. He is a real student of the craft. And the way Bakich described it is he marries the art and science of pitching very well. And I loved hearing him say that because I think you can see it in the way Canuck pitches. Like, it helps to have a changeup like that, right? That you can throw in any count. But at the same time, he really is a bright pitcher. What a play in shallow center. An excellent play by the shortstop Chufo for out number 2. Boy, I thought Canarella had that ball, but it was Chufo who made the catch.
I'll tell you this. I thought Canarella should have called it off, but I think the way that McDonald swung at this, it looked like it was going to be farther, and all of a sudden Canarella takes a couple steps back. Chufo's going for it and lets him make the play. He had to go a long way to get that ball.
But this has got a chance to be a very quick 1-2-3 inning as Chufo makes a much more routine play to end the top of the 5th. Halfway through this one, it's 6-1 Clemson. Two of the most storied programs in college baseball doing battle tonight in South Carolina. It has been all Clemson so far. They lead Stanford 6-1 as the number 4 Tigers continue their run towards a top 8 national seed this year behind the arm of that man, Aiden Canuck, who has been dynamite. 6 strikeouts and just 1 hit allowed, a home run to Tatum Marsh, as Clemson leads 6-1. And Joey Volchko, despite the fact that he's approaching 100 pitches on the evening, is back to work. 94 pitches for the right-hander. He's been in the strike zone.
Yeah.
At least for the most part. He's fallen behind in counts. But Clemson has really made him pay when he's been over the plate.
And what Clemson has done a good job of, and we've been talking about all day, is making them throw the extra pitches by fouling tough pitches off.
Luke Gaffney hits the first one on the ground to short. Timo Becerra will throw him out. And the leadoff man gone here in the Clemson 5th. UFC 314 is tomorrow night in Miami, highlighted by the featherweight main event. Paddy Pimblett takes on former title contender Michael Chandler. The prelims begin 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus in English and Spanish. Main card at 10 Eastern. On pay-per-view. To buy the main card, go to espnplus.com/ppv. Is that happening in your backyard?
It is.
Literally or figuratively?
No, I was actually going to go. I was going to go to the fights.
Were you?
I was. I was going to go over there, and they said, do you want to go to the fights or come watch this game? I said, that's an easy one. Coming over here.
2 up, 2 down as Gerald, who homered his last trip, grounds out to Becerra. I think you made the right choice.
Of course I did. But yeah, no, I was gonna go and watch the fights. This is way better.
It's turned into a perfect night as TP Wentworth hits a single his first trip. This is his first ACC start. Well, a freshman from California takes low 1-0. All right, so a little history with TP Wentworth. His dad Kevin, a 3-time All-American golfer at Oklahoma State, and won a national title there. Seems pretty good. His hitting, I wouldn't necessarily call him guru, but one of the guys who's helped
Call him
as
a
a
guru.
hitter, former colleague of ours, a good friend, Chris Singleton, the former big leaguer. Knows the Wentworth family well. That one bounced foul. And the count 1-2. Chris tuning in from Atlanta tonight to see TP play.
And here you can say it.
No, he was doing it. It's definitely not what he was doing. He was like, oh, and you're there too? Pitch number 101 on the night from Volchko. Yeah, it's a strikeout. And a 1-2-3 inning for the first time tonight for the Stanford right-hander to the sixth. 6-1 Clemson. They have great fun here in Clemson. You know, we will talk about it throughout the course of the weekend. We're fortunate to be here. There you see the caddies for all three games this weekend, and we'll talk more about this. But part of the in-game entertainment and the entire vibe that they try to build here is because Eric Bakich is a huge fan of the Savannah Bananas and has built a really strong relationship with the man in the yellow tuxedo, Jesse Cole. And they really want a fan-friendly atmosphere that says, like, hey, if you bring the kids out and the kids have a great time, we know that families are going to come back, because if the kids are like, can we go to the ball game? Parents are going to say yes.
It's very, very smart. They've been doing a great job all game, in between innings, keeping everybody laughing, having fun.
Aiden Canuck fouls behind the leadoff man in the Stanford order, Trevor Haskins. It's 6-1 Clemson. This the third time through the order for Canuck. Let's see if Stanford's hitters make an adjustment, and Haskins dumps one down the left field line. It's a base hit. The third baseman will hold at first. It's a leadoff single to start the sixth for the Cardinal.
And that time just able to stay on the changeup enough. But that's where the thought process for me as a hitter, especially off of a guy with a really good changeup, if you think pull, you got no chance, because he's going to throw it. You're going to be way out in front. If you're thinking right center field, sometimes you might even have to say, you know what, I got to go right field to be able to stay back, knowing that the fastball, yeah, it's going to beat me, but I'm going to probably get, what, 2 or 3 off-speed pitches, and most of them are going to be changeups. So fine, he could beat me with the fastball, but I'm going to be able to at least stay on that changeup and stay through it.
Timo Becerra takes outside. It's 1-1. Senior shortstop. Okay, but here's the thing: is that you hit off the fastball, right? Like, so does it make more sense to be trying to take anything that's soft, or can you just not pick it up from Canuck?
The thing is that you can't, because Canuck will throw the changeup for strikes
Just like
consistently, just like he did there. So if it's a guy that maybe wants you to chase the changeup, then it's a little bit different. Kodai Senga, with the ghost pitch, that pitch is not really a strike the whole entire time, so he wants you to chase it. That's a little bit different. Then you can lay off of that pitch and just say, I don't care. You throw it for a strike 3 times, and it happens. But with Canuck, he can throw that changeup, and he can backdoor you. He can throw it under your hands, and he can spot it for a strike whenever he wants. You got to start to sit on it if you're Stanford.
That one low, and the count is full. Canuck has walked one hitter tonight. He hit a batter. He's allowed just 2 hits. And with Rintaro Sasaki on deck, Stanford trying to mount a rally. Becerra gets a piece.
Now you're starting to see Stanford at least being able to make contact with that changeup that you didn't see early on. Early in this game, it seemed like every single time that changeup was thrown, it was way out in front. Those swings were way early. They're starting to make a little bit more of an adjustment at the plate.
Runner bluffs going, and Becerra fouls it away.
And that's perfect if you're Stanford. You see 92 miles an hour in, fine. I fouled it off. Getting to the next pitch. Now, if you threw that fastball out over the plate, Becerra probably would have been able to get a hit on that pitch.
8th pitch of the at-bat for Becerra. And he hits it on the ground to short. That could be 2. Pano to Purify to Gaffney. A 6-4-3 double play, 2 outs. Well, Rintaro Sasaki is baseball's next big thing. The power-hitting legend of Japanese high school baseball, who rewrote the record books with 140 home runs over 3 seasons, became the first top prospect ever to bypass the NPB draft in favor of college baseball in the U.S. This journey is something he's in complete control of, and he hopes one day will lead him to MLB. This life belongs to me, so I don't want others to decide it for me, he said. You can see the pieces coming out this week on Tuesday on ESPN.com. He takes outside. It's 1-1. Here's the pitch, and he takes low. There certainly has been a lot of attention on Sasaki in that big discussion of his decision to come to the States. I love what he said in the open, too, Gabby, about how he chose Stanford because he wants to go to Omaha.
Yeah.
I think probably the education, too, but he also wants to go to Omaha.
The education definitely doesn't hurt, but a team that you know is consistently in the thick of it.
Inside, and the count is full.
That's a good take. That fastball and off the plate. Taro Sasaki takes it with no problem. But again, there's going to be things that, you look at Rintaro that he's going to have to work on because guys will start to explode. And it's definitely that pitch that's up in the zone.
He takes inside, ball 4. He's had a couple of good at-bats tonight. Second time he's drawn a free pass. In fact, both walks issued by Kanak have been to Sasaki.
Hey, it's just another good at-bat, which is why everybody was looking at Rintaro Sasaki of being that guy, of being that player that, as a freshman coming in, could make a huge impact.
And then a visit from Jimmy Bellinger, the pitching coach. Bellinger out to talk to Kanak and maybe to just settle him down a little bit. A little frustration for the sophomore.
You got to love it, though. That's just the intensity in a pitcher. He wants the calls, right? I've been around the zone every single inning, every single pitch. I've been right there, and I want that call. And sometimes, too, you look at a starting pitcher, and when they have been around the zone, when they've been throwing the way, especially he's been throwing, they will get those calls. But at the end, that was not a strike. You got to be able to put it behind you and get the next hitter.
Senior right-hander Reed Garris beginning to get loose for Clemson. 92 pitches for Kanak. And he faces Jimmy Nadi, the cleanup hitter. Takes the ball low, 1-0. Kanak has been in control for the most part tonight. The changeup has been great. The slider has been very good at the bottom of the zone, and then he'll rush 92 upstairs at hitters. Swing and a miss. That was a breaking ball there again, and the count 1-1. It doesn't have a ton of movement, but boy, it just the bottom falls out of it almost.
It's enough, and it's right when it gets to that hitting zone that the ball just kind of gets off the barrel and has that slight break.
On the ground to short. Chufo the short way, inning over. Through 5.5. Clemson 6, Stanford 1. And a little bit of a surprise, Joey Volchko at 101 pitches back out for the 6th inning for Stanford. He just had his most efficient inning of the night, just 7 pitches for him, and he's back out for the 6th. I gotta tell you, I love this. Like, let him feel it a little bit here. Bottom of the lineup for Clemson, and he gets a swing and a foul tip from Pano, the number 8 hitter. It's 0-1.
Yeah, I think you kind of look at it too in last inning. 7 pitches to get out of that one inning. So hey, all right, let's send him back out there and see what he can do. You got to think that with the troubles that they've been having, especially with the starting pitching staff, got 2 more games left. If all of a sudden Volchko can go out there and eat up another inning, that's going to be huge for Stanford.
They're undecided the next 2 days. Christian Lim and Matt Scott will cover the bulk of duties, and Lim's coming off really his best start of the season against Georgia Tech. Sophomore left-hander expected to go tomorrow, but boy, any inning you can bite. And listen, the bridge, which had been really strong for Stanford the first couple of weeks in conference play, that bridge to the end of games and closer Aiden Keenan has not been as strong, let's say. I don't know what happens when a bridge stops being quite as strong. It's more like a suspension bridge or one of those wood ones where you cross over a creek and it's
I don't like the wood.
Rocking back and forth. Fouls it out of play and off to the right.
Wood ones are scary.
I like those. Those are fun.
Okay.
Live a little.
I'm good.
You sound like a man who's driven on too many causeways in their life.
I've driven on those things, and every crink and crack. Now I don't like that.
Well, then it's perfect for you. It's a perfect analogy.
It works for me. I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Volchka's gone full to the leadoff man, Pano. And he walks him. Pano, the leadoff man aboard. And we are here at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. You can see Gabby Sanchez, Mike Farron with you. We are the bridge to softball later tonight.
But we're not a suspension. We're like that Golden Gate. We're that good one, that sturdy bridge.
I don't think we're quite as beautiful as the Golden Gate Bridge.
Speak for yourself. I've got a good shine.
That's going to be it for Joey Volchko. It appears Thomas Eager is going to make a pitching change here. 6-1 Clemson leading Stanford. Tell you about the new pitcher for the Cardinal coming up. (6-1) Clemson as they bat in the bottom of the sixth inning, and the new pitcher for Stanford, who is not doing the zombie walk into the game tonight. This is Ben Reimers. I mean, that kid was ready to do the monster mash, it felt like, right? The right-hander from Lisa Viejo.
For Ben Reimers, he's 1-0 on the season with a 5.29 ERA. Has had a little bit of trouble, especially in the walks department. 17 innings, walking 7. It's a fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup. And really, when you're looking at a guy like Ben Reimers, you gotta really just look at it for him to be able to hold Clemson. And after the monster rock, it's not cold enough for him.
Oh, that's what it is. He's got brain freeze. You can tell. Yes.
And he knows that the camera's on. Look at that. He's a star in the making.
That's one cute kid, too. That is... No, just a little too cold. He had to spit it back in there.
It is a little chilly.
Unsurprisingly that he got... do they only serve purple and orange ices here? Andrew Truffaut,
yes.
First hitter that Reimers will face. It's a strike. So Reimers' dad, Tom, was on that 1995 Stanford team we saw earlier. The first time that these two programs ever met were in Omaha. Kyle Peterson threw a complete game in an 8-3 Stanford win. Our colleague here at ESPN. We are contractually obligated to mention Kyle at least 3 times during any Stanford broadcast, so I think we've got 2. You're just going to have to come on. The next one's on you. But they were teammates there. And his dad, Tom, played in the White Sox system for a while. His mom was a really good swimmer at Linfield College, where she was an academic All-American up and in. So, second-generation Stanford pitcher. A great athletic family, too. Played for the great Brett Kay at J. Sarah High School. It's ahead in the count 1-2 on Chufo. Runner goes. Pitch chopped to third. Haskins' only play will be to first. One out. Pato makes second.
And now's where it's going to get a little bit tougher for Ben Reimers, especially top of the lineup coming in. Last inning was the first inning that Clemson did not score a run.
Yeah, that was the best inning for Volchko, you see there, responsible for the man at second. 5+ innings for the sophomore right-hander. And Dom Listy will hit. He's been on base once tonight in 3 trips, and he checks and takes low. No swing. 1-0.
Seems like that low fastball has not been called at all. Brian Miller behind home plate, umpire, is not calling any of those low pitches. He hasn't called it all game.
At least with the fastball, because it seems like he's called that changeup when it's been down. Now maybe they've been in the zone, but
been in the zone.
Gerald's done a good job of receiving it too.
You have Gerald, who's done a good job of getting below that pitch and bringing it up. But the fastballs, anything that's down, or sorry, that was Psalms. Any fastball that's been down, just not being called. But at least it's being consistent both ways.
That hit him. Listy on base for the second time today. And now 2 on, 1 out for Cam Canarella. Now this is starting to feel like a big spot. This is where things have started to get away from Stanford in games. It's in the middle innings. Canarella tonight rocketed a double in the first inning. He's also walked, reached on a fielder's choice, and been caught stealing. So a big spot here for Clemson to really bust things open. They've been in control tonight. They lead 6-1. The first pitch to Canarella, and he ropes one down the right field line. That's a fair ball into the corner. 1 run is home. They'll throw on the brakes for Listy. An RBI double for Canarella. The throw gets away. Listy comes home to score, and it's 8-1 Clemson. That's the second ball that Canarella has absolutely torched tonight.
Boy, Canarella, we've talked about it, especially in the open, that all of a sudden the hard hit rate is starting to come along. It's a 91-mile fastball up in the zone. Leaves his bat at 104 down that right field line. Gonna be an easy double. Marsh throws it in, but there's nobody there. It gets away, and Listy is able to easily score on that.
They'll bring up Jaron Purify. Takes low, 1-0. It's a double, an RBI, and then the throwing error by Tatum Marsh allows the second run to score. But as it is, a pair of doubles tonight for Canarella and in scoring position. And that one gets away from Psalm, and Canarella will go to third. See how they score that. That might be a pass ball on Psalm. Yeah.
I was thinking that I was on the same page as you, but still, I mean, you look at, Stanford just biting themselves all game long. 2 of the runs that Clemson scored on a wild pitch, that one there getting Canarella over to third base.
They bring the infield all the way in now with a 2-0 count to Purify. He takes outside. It's 3-0. That was scored a pass ball on Psalm.
And I think rightfully so. It was a fastball. It looked like Psalms could have gotten it, hit right off the tip of his glove and goes back. But again, it just kind of hurting themselves as Stanford in today's ball game.
3-0. There's a strike. It's 3-1. 8-1 Clemson, bottom 6. Fouled away. The count goes full to Purify.
And for Purify in this situation, it's 8-1, but you never want to leave a runner on third base with less than 2. Got to look for a situation here. You have infield deals and got to put the ball in play, especially with a guy that can run like Canarella at third.
Purify lines it into right field, a base hit. Canarella scores. It's 9-1 Clemson. Jared Purify on base for a second time tonight. The top of the order has done a ton of damage this evening.
They have him for Jared Purify, the first hit of the ball game. Boy, it's a beauty. Gets a slider, outside corner, head over the barrel, stays on it. And again, not trying to do too much, not trying to lift it, hitting the pitch where it is and driving it the opposite way.
In 12 plate appearances tonight, the top 3 hitters have reached 7 times, and then Purify also got on it via an error in the first inning. And Colin Priest takes a strike. It's 0-1.
It's kind of been what they've done all season long, especially those 3 guys at the top of the lineup, consistently just getting on base.
Now, Priest has singled and walked in his 3 trips. Takes low. Purify frustrated with himself because he didn't get a good secondary lead. He thought he should have been at second. Started pumping his fist at himself when that one got away from Som.
He probably had the steal on and just didn't feel like he had the right jump. You can't be mad at yourself. You got to just let that be.
And a ball gets loose from the Stanford bullpen.
And Mike, we talked about the top 3 guys in this lineup coming into today's ball game. Listy with a 524 on base percentage, Canarella a 484 on base percentage, and Purify a 467 on base percentage.
1-1 to Priest. And he rips one down the right field line into the corner. He's got a chance at extra bases. Marsh has trouble with it. Purify around third. He'll come home without a throw. It's 10-1 Clemson in the 6th.
Well, and they're not stopping. It doesn't matter what the score is. Priest hits this ball extremely hard. 109 exit velo, but look at Purify and how he takes off from first. No hesitation, no stopping, easily scoring, head first slide.
See, those oven mitts aren't just good for taking the brisket out of the oven of the Cajun Cafe. Also protect you diving across the plate. The meeting on the mound here. Jared Purify, who has had a breakout season this year. He's part of this wave of players over the last 5 years or so from the Detroit area that I'm fascinated by. Detroit has all of a sudden become this incredible baseball hotbed. And after the conference is over, Thomas Eaker's going to come out and make a pitching change for Stanford. So they are on to their 3rd pitcher of the inning. Clemson has broken it open. They have a man at second with 1 out, leading 10-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Is always arduous, but there's a good chance that it's going to go through Clemson, South Carolina. You take a look at the top 10 in the latest D1 baseball poll. Clemson, the top ACC team, just ahead of Tennessee, the reigning national champions. This Clemson team, we talked about the power maybe being one of the things that Clemson still was looking for. They've had extra base hits tonight. Eric Bakich was confident that they could score in a bunch of different ways. And, you know, listen, as big as the checkbox is, that's an important thing to be able to do when you get to the Men's College World Series. If you're fortunate enough to get through the gauntlet that is regionals and super regionals and get there, it's not a great power hitter's ballpark unless the weather is cool.
Right.
Because the wind is blowing in when it's warm.
And this team shows that they got a bunch of speed, too, especially in the top of the lineup. They got guys who can do damage. It's going to be a fun team to watch.
Cassius Thomas is the new pitcher. He has worked his way into the trust tree here for Stanford. He had a very good outing against Virginia on a Thursday night 2 weeks ago, and they've started to use him more. His stuff moves all over the place. And the first pitch fouled back by Luke Gaffney. It's 0-1.
Yeah, sinker, slider, four-seam fastball, 92, 94 miles an hour. Don't be surprised if you see something at 95. Mike, just like you said, just balls going in opposite directions coming into home.
He's one of those guys that it's the stuff is good enough and it moves so much that he's going to walk some hitters, but holy cow, was he impressive 2 weeks ago. Count 0-2. Luke Gaffney at the plate for Clemson, 0 for 3 tonight. Clemson with an important run in scoring position, leading by 9 in the 6th. There's the run rule in effect. The 10 runs in the 7th, and Gaffney hit by a pitch. Slider backed up, and Gaffney hit by a pitch. We got started a little late tonight because of the rain, but following our game tonight, you get to see Tennessee at Texas this evening, and there's Carlin Pickens, one of the top pitchers in the country for the Volunteers. Beth Mowins, Michelle Smith standing by, and they'll have the broadcast as soon as we are done here in Clemson tonight. First pitch up and in to Jacob Jarrell. It's 1-0. Jarrell, a 2-run homer back in the 3rd inning. An opposite field shot. Here's the 1-0. Upstairs, it's 2-0.
That's a lot of movement.
Right?
I mean,
I told you, like, we were talking to Dave Esker about it. It was like, who was the kid that pitched against Virginia? You know, Thomas, yeah. Oh, it really moves. It's fun. And he's a guy that's had to earn his place. Like, he's struggled his first couple of years here.
Esker even told us, too. He said, no, he's earned his spot now, pitching in a lot more games.
There's a strike. It's 2-1. I mean, I can't imagine. Like, he kind of slings it right. It's a little lower angle, so it's going to be tough on a righty.
A little lower 3/4, so it's going to come into a righty. But he just finished showing that he can backdoor.
The 2-1. Check swing, foul tip. 2-2. That one hit the bat of Jarrell and went into the glove. So the count 2-2. Inside, that one runs off the plate, and the count full to Jarrell. 10-1 Clemson, bottom 6. 4 runs home for the Tigers in this inning. Jarrell takes high, and the bases are loaded. Here comes the freshman T.P. Wentworth. Get a look at all of the base runners. Colin Priest at 3rd. Wentworth, his first ever ACC start. He had a single and a stolen base back in the 2nd. He is 1 for 3. A freshman outfielder waits. And he takes outside 1-0. It's been a bit of a revolving door in right field for Clemson this year. Jack Crichton, Tristan Becerra, Claddy have all had opportunities there, and some have gotten hot at the right times. They're looking for that answer in right. There's a strike. It's 1-1. And I think they'd love some offensive production out of the position because the bottom of the lineup, listen, whatever you get out of Pino and Chufo offensively is a bonus, right? Because they're such good defenders.
But yeah, you need to have some of them playing right field who's going to be able to swing the bat.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. It's 1-2.
And then you can go ahead and say, hey, see what the freshman can do in TP Wentworth. See if he can go out there. Started off this ball game with the base hit up the middle, stole a base.
The 1-2. Outside, 2-2. Have you noticed that his helmet is a little different than everyone else's? He's gone with the matte purple tonight while everybody else has the high gloss.
I noticed, too, that he might need a bigger size. It looks a little small on him.
You think he's got a little dad hat going on with his helmet?
I mean, he's a big dude. I see him in person. I'm like, whoa.
Fouled away.
I mean, even the top of the bill looks a little smaller than the other ones.
Well, that might be just the Met. See, there's the gloss one.
Yeah, see the gloss.
Right.
But see, look at the, like, maybe it's the orange that just makes the bill look a little bit bigger.
Maybe. I'm a big fan of the matte helmet
I love
race.
that.
I love it. I think it's old school. It's really cool. 2-2. Called strike 3. Boy, that was a really well-located fastball. 2 outs. I mean, he's got no chance on that, right? That probably started at his hip and ran back over the inside
It just
corner.
froze him up is what it did. And just like you said, especially with a guy with a good sinker, and he can throw it front door to a lefty, back door to a righty. It almost looks like it's going to hit you, it's going to come at you, and then last second turns.
2 outs for Josh Pino, the 10th man to come to the plate for Clemson in the 6th. He led off the inning with a walk. Bases loaded with 2 outs. First pitch is a strike, 0-1. Depending on what your definition of batting around is, and the only proper one is that if 9 hitters come to the plate, it means you've batted around. But this is the 10th man. They have gone more than around.
Yes, I agree.
We will not be taking comments on that. Swing and a miss. It's 0-2. Because it's on your scorecard. It goes all the way around.
All the way around. Messes up our scorecard now.
No, not if you do this.
I just usually put it in the same box.
Yeah, that's what I do. I put a little line and put it in the same box. This is why I score in pencil. 0-2 the count. Pitch to Pino. Fouls it back.
A nice scoring pen.
Live and learn. Is it erasable pen?
No.
Do you walk around with a giant tub of whiteout?
No, I have the sticker thing in this thing.
Oh, yeah, you got the little whiteout doohickey.
The handy dandy.
You know the thing. The 0-2, it hit him. And a run will score. It's 11-1 Clemson. But just a couple of times, Thomas's breaking ball is backed up on him. And that time it clipped Pino.
And both times they've been hit by pitches. Gaffney had one, that one Pino. And for Clemson, it was a big run.
That's what the Tigers fans are hoping for, that run to Omaha. They are feeling it. And now they are 3 defensive outs away if they can post a 0 in the 7th from a 32nd win of the season. Here's Andrew Chufo. Chufo grounded to third. Make the first out of this inning, and he rolls one to the right side. Sasaki feeds Thomas covering, and the inning is over. Clemson scores 5. We head to the top of the 7th. They lead Clemson by Stanford by 10.
Boy, he was mighty impressive today. 95 pitches, 64 of those being strikes.
They have a legit ace to open the weekend for Clemson. It's just another thing that gives them a lot of hope that this is going to be a year that ends with the season in Omaha. Hudson Lee is on the transfer from Wake Forest, who has not allowed an earned run yet this season. Just 4 unearned runs.
And for Hudson Lee, big lefty on the mound. It's a fastball, slider, changeup mix. And for Clemson, they would love to be able to get 3 outs quickly here and end this ball game, only needing to utilize 2 pitchers.
Top of the 7th inning, and Tatum Marsh, who homered for Stanford to break up the no-hitter from Canuck in the 4th, leads things off, and somebody forgot to hit the on switch. There we go. 90% of the time when there is an issue with a pitch communication device, it could be handled the same as when your parents call to ask you how to work the streams. Or did you turn it on?
Or did you turn up the volume?
If you try, and now he is having issues. Just try to
just hold it down for 30 seconds.
Yeah, just hold down. You have to hold Control Alternate, and then the button. There we go.
Oh, there we go. We just get a new one. Ran out of battery.
This one works.
Did you change the battery?
Who forgot to charge the pitch communication device?
All right.
It's funny because both Stanford pitchers, before the first pitch that they threw, were I can't hear. So now it's ready. First pitch to Marsh, down low, 1-0. As I mentioned, Marsh, an opposite field homer. He has really been an impressive player for Stanford this year as a freshman. Takes a strike, 1-1. His younger brother Quentin is also committed to Stanford. And he is one of the best pitchers in Northern California. Valley Christian in San Jose. Count 1-2.
And everybody, talks about Rentaro Sasaki, the freshman, and no one really talks about Tatum Marsh, and he's been having himself a really good year.
He has been their best on base bat. He is hit down at the bottom of the lineup for most of the year, but he has performed well enough that he's hitting in the 5-hole today. He made a spectacular defensive play 2 weeks ago against Virginia that at the moment saved the game with the winning run and scoring position on the bottom of the 9th. Made an incredible diving catch in the alley. And we've seen the power. You can see he's got a really loose swing. This is a player I think that Stanford fans can get excited about. And I like the fact that he always looks calm and confident. Rules that one just foul.
Calm, cool, collected.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, the swing, everything is very calm. There's no rush. Saw it on the home run. Able to drive that pitch out to right center field. It's just a really good swing.
Down on strikes to start the Stanford 7th. 11-1 Clemson. That'll bring up Brady Reynolds. Reynolds tonight 0 for 2. He checks and takes inside 1-0. On his hands a little bit, 1-1. As I mentioned earlier, Reynolds has been dealing with a hand issue. I have to think that it's one of those things you have to gain confidence. And did you ever deal with hand?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Every once in a while, against a good pitcher, you would get jammed up on that finger, and it would hurt. And then all of a sudden, you would have to use the thumb guard. And I hated using the thumb guard. It just made me feel uncomfortable. And you just take it off, and you just sometimes just deal with the pain. But it's not a good feeling.
2-1 the count to Reynolds. count. 3-1 now to the DH.
It's been one of the things for Hudson Lee. He hasn't been scored upon earned run-wise, but he has given up some walks.
And he walks Reynolds here with 1 out in the 7th. Some of the umpires you paid to get in tonight and Purple and Orange perhaps disagreeing, but I had to say that for the most part, we've had a very good night by Brian Miller behind the plate. I think he's done an excellent job this evening. Charlie Somm hits 0 for 2, grounded out his last trip. And this could do it. Purify to second, Schufo to first, and Clemson, by run rule, defeats Stanford tonight 11-1 in the opener of this 3-game series. Clemson, a 10-run victory here in 7 innings. That'll do it for us. 11-1 the final. Join us tomorrow and Sunday on ACC Network for the last 2 games of the series. For Gabby Sanchez, I'm Mike Farron. College softball, Tennessee at Texas is next.